50,000 pilgrims listening to Pope Benedict today at his general audience. Let's think about his legacy now and the challenges indeed facing his successor. We're joined by Jack Valero from Catholic Voices. Jack Valero, a very good afternoon to you.
Hello.
What did you make of what the Pope had to say in this general audience today? Some people remarking on the tone.
Yes, it was an incredibly moving occasion. The last audience of of the Pope, this has never happened before. A friend of mine who went to the square said he was so packed where he was, it was difficult even to clap. But, you know, he gave us so many analogies about the church, saying that it wasn't just an organization, but a family. And he talked about his own role, which wouldn't be a private role like he had before as Cardinal Ratzinger, like as if he, you know, as the retired Archbishop of Canterbury, talking about different things and giving opinions. He would retire to the monastery. And then he talked very movingly about the many people that had written to him of all kinds, even ordinary people, many ordinary people who'd written to him, and not with any funny or good language, but just in their normal way, written to him to thank him, and he was really grateful for this.
Well, ordinary Catholics, I suppose, have had a couple of weeks to get used to this idea of a papal resignation. Some people are pretty relaxed about it. There are a few, aren't there, who say, look, you can't renounce paternity. This man was the father of the Catholic Church, and you can't renounce fatherhood.
Well, I think that most people now see it as a very humble thing to have done, you know, to say that he has this power, but he thinks that the church needs a younger man with more energy to run it. And so he's going to leave it for someone else to take over. And he's going to retire. And he's not going to have any role, unlike retired prime ministers or retired archbishops or whatever. He's going to go and retire to pray for the church. His new role, he said, is to pray and to accompany us in this way. So I think it's really humble and helpful. And that's what he has given to us, you know, this church to look after now.
Yeah. One of the things that's been said about his legacy, Jack, is that, and it's a rather arcane subject, I dare say it's even a slightly dull one, but for people who work within the church, it's a very important one, that he's not been a great reformer of the way it works. The Curia, this civil service for the Vatican, bureaucratic, well, it has been for years, say some, but it needed shaking up, and he's not done that.
Yes, he's been a teaching pope, giving us fantastic teachings in his books and letters and encyclicals, but he hasn't taken so much interest in the internal workings of the Vatican. And so no pope is perfect. This is pending. I'm sure in the Vatican's a very small organization considering the church has 1.2 billion people around the world. And I'm sure that the vast majority of people work there with great intention and for very little money. And, you know, there are some who are making a career there, and the thing has to be sorted out. He hasn't taken a great deal of interest in that. The next pope will have to do that. Of course, the most important thing is to take the message of Christ out to the world, and the Curia is there to help the pope to do that. In some instances during this pontificate, the Curia have not been helpful to the pope in this way, and that has to change. But really the pope has to look into the Curia, but his most important role is to the world, is the Pope to the world. This is something that also came through very clearly today in the audience, that the Pope was saying the papacy is for the world, it's at the service of the world. It's not a thing of power, it's a thing of service.
We just got a glimpse there of Cardinal Francis Arinze, the Nigerian prelate. You'll be aware, I'm sure, Jack, that certainly within the media, endless speculation already about the papabili, the most popable, the likely successors to this Pope. I mean, quite clearly, given that the growth in the Roman Catholic Church is not in the West, it's not in the global North, it's in the global South. Can you see the sense of an African Pope, an Asian Pope?
Sure. I mean, it would be very exciting. Ultimately, it's not relevant which country he comes from or which continent he comes from. But it's true that the church is growing in Africa, in Asia, and the church is largest in South America and North America. So it could be that we have a North American Pope or a South American Pope, a Pope not from Europe. We've never had a Pope not from Europe, so this will be a new thing. But, you know, for 400 years we didn't have any popes who were not Italian. So things are changing, and the church is a very global church. And as you say, it's growing in all those areas. So it'll be good to see a Pope from there What we need really is a Pope who is a very good theologian, who speaks many languages, who understands the challenges in the different parts of the world and can tackle them and can inspire the rest of the Church. I mean, the Church is going to be made not by the Pope, but by the lay people who are with their jobs and their families there in the middle of the world. And just like the two popes we've had, John Paul II and Benedict XVI, who have inspired the laity to go out and do that, I think that's what we need, a Pope who will inspire us and to go out and make the Church happen wherever we are. And in that sense, it doesn't really matter which country or which continent the Pope comes from.
Jack Valero from Catholic Voices. Jack, thanks very much.
Thank you.